What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy once again, Motor City Don P. You know, one thing that you can say when you see me is for certain, and three things you can say when you see me are for sure, is that the Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats and not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and we're gonna get into some things today. But before we get into those things, let me tell you how to keep your Lions news pragmatic. The first thing you have to do is smash the like button. The second thing you should be doing is subscribing, because if you want to talk in here, if you want to have your opinion be heard, you got to be a subscriber, baby. And then number three, make sure you share and let everybody know what's going on around here. And let everyone know that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it, giving you stats and not static and keeping your Lions news pragmatic. Let me take my own advice. This is something that I don't do often, which is, well, I take my own advice often because, like, who wouldn't do that, right? Unless you give bad advice. If you give bad advice, don't take your own advice. That's one thing. Go ahead and share my stream. Let's see here. And one more hashtag. All right. Stream is shared. So just took my advice, just shared my own stream. And let's go ahead and get to it. Today, we are going to be talking about some burning questions. The NFC North edition. Now, it is the silly season. It is also list season. It is the season where we've got to rank things and do hypotheticals because there's nothing else to talk about. Let's be real. Let's be honest. The Detroit Lions are on vacation. J-Mo is where J-Mo is. Amon-Ra St. Brown is where Amon-Ra St. Brown is. Goff is off doing golf things. He's going to be a dad soon. Shout out to him and his wife. You know, Frank Ragnow is fishing, even though he's going to continue fishing, and he won't be here for training camp or any other time during the season. Maybe he'll be in a sweep. I don't know. But that is what that is. So we've got to come up with things, and we've got to manufacture content. And because I'm entertaining, we can do that. I can talk about anything. So let's go ahead and talk about it. As I said, the burning questions. Let's see here. I got it open here. Or maybe I don't have it open. Yeah, here it is. It is open. Okay. All right. Burning questions. We got a few questions that we're going to hold on. How is it not here? I had it open. I for sure had this open. All right, let me just pop this on here. Okay, so Ahmed Hassanin shows off massive strength in a workout video posted on social media. Okay, cool. All right. Where is the article? Yeah, so basically it was a uh, duh, 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 duh. No clue. I had this up. Anyway, we'll go off the cuff, offhand. Let's see who I got here. What up, though, everybody in the chat? All right. So the first question was, in the NFC North, who has the best defense? Is it the Lions? Is it the Packers? Is it the Bears? Is it the Vikings? So let's go from the back end of the defense down. The Detroit Lions have the best safety tandem in the entire NFL. It is not about the NFC North. It is not about the NFC. It is not about the AFC. It is not about any of the conferences. It is about the entire NFL. The Detroit Lions have the best safety tandem with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. We know that Kirby Joseph is a first-team All-Pro, and he led the league in interceptions last season. We know that Brian Branch is phenomenally talented. Brian Branch is a Swiss Army knife. Brian Branch rushes the passer. He plays linebacker. He plays in the slot. He plays safety. He's all over the field. Okay? We have the guy that if you throw the ball in his direction, he is going to inhale it. Shout out Kirby Joseph. You see what I did there? Do you see what I did there? Shout out Kirby Joseph. What up, though, Flex? If y'all don't know, if y'all aren't video game people, let me explain it to you. Kirby is this little marshmallow fella. Okay, he's in the Mario Brothers world. Okay, Kirby, his superpower is he just sucks things up. He inhales everything. So isn't it fitting that this man who led the league in interceptions was inhaling every football that came in his direction? That guy, his name is Kirby. Isn't that crazy? It's funny how these things work out. So we got Kirby Joseph inhaling the footballs that come in his direction. We've got Brian Branch creating havoc, creating chaos. You don't want to see him in the open field because he will knock your block off. Those two guys, they both play for the Detroit Lions. So advantage Detroit Lions as far as the safety rooms. Now, in the other section of the secondary, we do have the cornerbacks. We have a rookie cornerback who is going into his second season. He was much maligned, you could say. You didn't have a lot of people on his side and in his corner. Pun intended. Man, I'm on fire today. You didn't have a lot of people in his corner. You had a lot of people saying, oh, he sucks. He's not any good. He's this, that, and the third thing. Quinyon Mitchell's better. Cooper DeJean is better. Played different positions, by the way. Anyway, everybody's better. They just didn't like the pick. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't dislike the pick. I just didn't care about the pick because right before we picked, well, not right before, I think it was 5 slots before, the Los Angeles Rams, punk asses, went up and got Jared Verse. Jared Verse was my pick all the way through. Phenomenal player, defensive rookie of the year. That guy, we could have had that guy opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Now we have Marcus Davenport. But anyway, that will get to those things later. Now that's a great question. Shout out TaylorMade Media. It says, now that's a great question. The Lions went 15-2 with a decimated D in 24. So to ask if they're going to have the best defense in 25 is thought-provoking, especially with a new DC taking over the reins. So we're talking about the best defense in the NFC North, okay? So I'm breaking it down. I'm at the corners. The corners, as I said, we had Terrion Arnold, much maligned. He's too grabby, too many penalties. Second half of the year, all that pretty much stopped. And as we said, we've broken down here, I think it's 4.6 or 4.8% of the time that he lined up in man coverage, there was a reception. Okay. Anything like if you said 10% of the time, you'd be like, wow, that's crazy. Okay. 4%, 4.6, 4.5, 4.8, whatever it was, 4.1, don't remember. Okay, I just know it was 4 point something. So I think he's better than you think he is. DJ Reed has been a very good cornerback in this league for many years. Okay. Signed a 3-year, $16 million per year contract, $48 million total with the Lions this season. He was brought in to replace Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis was phenomenal for us last season. I don't know what it's going to look like with DJ Reed, but I have confidence that he's going to be able to come in and fill the void left by Carlton Davis. And I also have confidence that there is not going to be any drop off in the play on that side. If there is, it'll be very negligible and minute. So I'm going to say advantage Detroit Lions as far as the secondary, because on the other side, you look at the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have Harrison Smith, who is super old. He's not going to be able to do it for too much longer. Josh Metellus is a very good safety linebacker. He's like a Brian Branch light. I think Brian Branch and he are similar players, but I just think that Brian Branch does it better. Then you've got Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy's not terrible. He's good. I'm biased. Byron Murphy was doing the, hey, everybody look over here. Talk about the Vikings. Don't talk about the Lions. We deserve the talk. We deserve the admiration. We deserve the love. And then you get yourself smacked in the playoffs. You got smacked. Listen, you got smacked by the same two teams both times. How in the world does a team go 14-3 in the regular season and then a total of 4 losses on the season, because when the postseason came, they didn't make it. Your losses came in the same sequence to the same two teams. You have 4 losses against everybody else you won. Against the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams, you lost. Both times it was Detroit beat you first, then the Rams beat you second. Okay? The first time, Detroit eked you out, and then the Rams eked you out. The second time, Detroit beat that ass, and then the Rams beat that ass. It was crazy. The last 2 games of the season, y'all scored 9 points. Both times. Crazy. I think it was 31-9 versus Detroit, and it was 24-9 or something like that, 28-9 versus the Rams. So I don't think that their secondary is very good. I don't know who's the other safety. Does anybody remember? Or not safety, the other corner. Help me out. Who with the other corner? What up, Motown Mitch? So let's see. The other corner is somebody whose ankles Jahmyr Gibbs took. He still has them in his house right now on his trophy case, his ankles. So I'm going to say advantage Lions over the Vikings as far as the secondary goes. The Packers have Xavier McKinney. They have a young safety alongside of him, but that young safety, I can't remember his name right now. He is often missing games because of injury. Xavier McKinney was neck and neck with Kirby Joseph as far as the league leading the league in interceptions. until the end where Kirby got 8, got 9, and I think McKinney finished with 8. McKinney was also a person that was doing a lot of chirping throughout the season. Every time we came up against the Lions, you want to chirp, and then you got chopped down. And now Xavier McKinney is quiet. He has nothing to say. Can't remember the name of their other safety. But anyway, Brian Branch is better than the other guy. Kirby Joseph is better than McKinney. So that's advantage to Lions. Their corners were Jair Alexander, who did not stay healthy, could not stay healthy. And then they have a mixture of like Eric Stokes and Keyshawn Nixon. And it's the Packers corners are not as good as the Lions corners. Okay. Now, the closest one I'm going to say is the Bears. The Bears have Jaquan Brisker, who, again, misses a lot due to injury. They have Jalen Johnson. So Jalen Johnson is definitely going to be the best corner in the NFC North. Let me see. Let me get it completely right. Let me see. So they have, as I said, Jalen Johnson. Okay. He's the best corner in the NFC North. They had Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon's decent. Would you say Kyler Gordon or DJ Reed? Would you say Kyler Gordon or Terrion Arnold? You might give Kyler Gordon the slight edge to Terrion Arnold, and you also could be biased. Okay, Jaquan Brisker, like I said, he does miss a lot of games due to injury with concussions. He's wild and reckless. And then you got Tyreek Stevenson. My friends. Tyreek Stevenson is a liability. Tyreek Stevenson, if you guys remember, was the guy that was waving goodbye to the fans when they played Washington, and came back in because he was out of position and tipped the ball into, what was that dude's name? Noah Brown's hands at the end of the game, giving the victory to the Washington Commanders. He did not want to take any responsibility for it. He was pissed off because he got benched for it. I think he walked out of practice. Super duper crash out. He's got problems with J-Mo. They've got this back and forth thing going. J-Mo did get penalized for something that he did. But Tyreek Stevenson tripped him and I think spat on him. As far as what the video showed, the league did discipline Stevenson. So Stevenson is just a head case. And to be quite honest with you, he's not great as a cover corner. So because you got Brisker, who's often not available, because you have Stevenson, I don't think Jalen Johnson is enough to say, hey, you've got a better secondary than the Detroit Lions. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Detroit Lions over the Vikings, Bears, and Packers. See what you guys are saying in the chat. Oh, God. Ron Winarski is here. Talking about the Bears. Okay. It's only one play. Tyreek Stevenson is a bum. Get out of here. Come on, dog. Be real. Be real about your team. Okay? When we had Jeffrey Namumbo Ohel Nokuda, and you knew it was coming up. You knew it was coming up because I was talking about the Lions secondary. And Ron Winarski came in here and he gave me the floor. He gave me the segue. When we had Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelno Kuda, who now plays for the Vikings, who shout out to the heavies. They didn't know that, but they're not as in tune with Jeffrey Namumbo as I am. Okay. He is my nemesis. Okay. He's the bane of my existence. Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelno Kuda is garbage. Will Harris wasn't any good. Cam Sutton, now while he is a choker in more ways than one, I did defend the fact that the second half of the season he was here. He was injured. He did look like he was dealing with a turf toe. He was plodding. He was picking his foot up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down. It didn't seem like there was any flow to the movements, the way that he was running. But he wasn't good. Okay? So I can tell you when a player is not good. I'm not just going to glaze my team. When you have a trash player, he's a trash player. Just accept it and move on. Don't be that guy. I mean, I know you're a Bears fan, but don't be that guy. The Stevenson kid with the Bears, Coach L will sit with him and get him right. We'll see. I don't think anyone can get him right. He seems to be a head case who doesn't understand that he's playing in the National Football League. But we'll see. All right. Next is the linebackers. We've got Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, and Derek Barnes. The sticking points here for the Detroit Lions are Derek Barnes and Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell, I think, is coming into his own. Remember last season when Aaron Glenn said he had that green dot energy? I think Jack Campbell is coming into what we want him to be. Obviously, he's a tackling machine. He is a bit reckless, plays with a bit of reckless abandon. Just ask Amik Robertson and his broken arm. But is he there yet? I don't know. I know Sean Dion Hamilton said that the game was slowing down for him, which is going to be scary because really the thing that Jack Campbell really needs to work on, or not work on, because I'm sure he's working on it, but the thing that we need to see consistently from Jack Campbell is better coverage. Once we see that, I think we'll be able to crown him as a top 10 linebacker in this league. So, I mean, he's around there. Okay. Derek Barnes, a lot of people have not forgiven Derek Barnes for that safety that he missed in Dallas. I've forgiven him for it because he did come back and get an interception of Baker Mayfield, which sent us to the NFC Championship game. So that's a wash for me. But Derek Barnes has been a developing player for the amount of time that he's been here, and then he just got a new contract. So now it's kind of a put up or shut up type of situation. You did get your extension. You're getting $8 million per for 3 years. What are you bringing to the table? And because there are still those question marks of what are you bringing to the table consistently, I can't put him very high on my list. Alex Anzalone, we know what he does. We know what he means to this defense. We know when we talk about the best coverage linebackers in the NFL, we've got to put him on that list. Alex Anzalone was a guy who, much like Derek Barnes, when he got here, nobody wanted him here because they didn't think he was very good. In his first season here, he wasn't very good. But he has developed, and that has been under the tutelage of one Coach Shep. And I want to say Coach Shep more so than Aaron Glenn because Coach Shep was his direct coach. He was his direct linebackers coach. So I think with his developmental traits and abilities, as I'm talking about Coach Shep, I think Derek Barnes will be okay. Alex Anzalone is already phenomenal. He is one of, like I said, the best coverage linebackers in the league, and he's very solid. I would say definitely if you want to put him in the top 15 linebackers in the NFL, Alex Anzalone belongs there. So that is what the Lions have at linebacker. Now, the Vikings linebacking core. They have Andrew Van Ginkel. Let's see. They have Andrew Van Ginkel, who was phenomenal. I think he had like 11 sacks. He's got pick sixes. He's all over the field. Is he a better version of Alex Anzalone? What would you say? Because on the other hand, you've got Eric Wilson, Dallas Turner, and they say Kobe King. I thought it was I thought Ivan Pace was in there. Yeah, Ivan Pace Jr. They got him way down on the chart. But so what I'm going with is Andrew Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner. They have Jonathan Grenard listed as a linebacker. You got Blake Cashman. I'm gonna say the Vikings have a better linebacking core than the Detroit Lions. You got Andrew Van Ginkel in there, who is close to Alex Anzalone. You might say he's better than Alex Anzalone because of the interceptions. If you said that, I wouldn't be upset. So for the Lions, you would say for sure you have Alex Anzalone. You like what Jack Campbell is becoming, but then your question mark is Derek Barnes. And then behind Derek Barnes, you have Rodrigo, who is a 6th-round draft pick. And then you've got a bunch of guys that you kind of signed off practice squads and like you got Trevor Nowatzki and you got Ben Neiman and I'm going to say it's the Vikings. The Vikings starters and depth, I think, kind of clear the lines. You see how I did that, Ron? Okay. Let me see. Jack Campbell gets to the ball, gets to the play, and gets right back in the huddle. The INT from Derek Barnes was like earning your first varsity letter. Has Anzalone gotten a new deal yet? Anzalone hasn't gotten a new deal yet, but he'll probably get one. He said, don't know about the Vikings, about Van Ginkel at all, but the Vikings went 14-3. Okay. The Vikings defense is very good against everyone else in the league except for the Lions and the Rams for some reason. Now, the Packers linebackers, we've got our favorite linebacker in Quay Walker. He is a Lions fan. Quay Walker is a Lions fan. They've got Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, and apparently they signed Isaiah Simmons, which remember when Jeffrey Namumbo El Nokuda was getting drafted by the Detroit Lions? I wanted Isaiah Simmons. Quay Walker is a head case, which is going to cost you games. He does it every time they play the Lions. Edgerrin Cooper had a very promising rookie season. And Isaiah McDuffie is solid. Do you put them over the Detroit Lions? Like I said, our biggest question mark is Derek Barnes. I'm gonna say it's a wash. I'm gonna say it's a wash. I think Anzo is better than Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper and Isaiah McDuffie and Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons, he's bounced around the league a little bit. He's more of a tweener safety hybrid linebacker, and I don't think that there has been a team that has used him to his best potential. I don't know if that'll be the Packers, but we'll see what happens. But I think Isaiah Simmons, because of his versatility, can be a very good player in this league. I just think he needs to get the right system. He needs to be in the right system. He needs to have a coach that understands how to use him and understands how to get the most out of all of the traits that he has. And I don't think he's had that yet. So I'm going to say it's a wash. All right. Let's go with the... Okay, so keep in mind, I've said that the Detroit Lions have the best secondary. I've said that the Minnesota Vikings have the best linebacking core. So we did... Okay, the Bears. Got to get to the Bears. Okay. So they got people that I never heard of. Ruben Hippolyte. Who the frick is that? So you got Eamon Bamiga, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. Are TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds better than Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell? That's a question. I think they're very similar. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. All right. The moment you've all been waiting for. The defensive line. I know y'all been waiting for it. I know you've been waiting with bated breath because we started out with the secondary. Then we moved on to the linebackers. Now we're going to the defensive line. Do the Detroit Lions have the best defensive line in the NFC North? What do y'all think I'm going to say? Tell me in the chat. What do you think Motor City Don P is going to say about this? Um, there's no way in the world that you could watch my podcast on a daily basis and think that I'm going to come out here and tell you that the Detroit Lions have the best defensive line in the NFC North. Detroit Fan Man says, with future Hall of Famer Hassanin, it's in the bag, baby. All right. Let's make this clear. I am not bashing the Detroit Lions defensive line. I am here to tell you guys the truth. The Detroit Lions defensive line going into the season consists of Aiden Hutchinson, Tyleik Williams, DJ Reader, Marcus Davenport. We're just doing the starters. We're not doing any subs. We're not talking about the depth. I guess we should be talking about the depth, but admittedly, I don't know enough about the depth of all of the NFC North teams as far as the defensive line. So I'm just going to talk about the starters. Aiden Hutchinson clears everybody. Okay? Aiden Hutchinson clears Montez Sweat. Aiden Hutchinson clears Rashawn Gary. But shout out, both of them are Wolverines. Aiden Hutchinson clears Jonathan Grenard. Okay? Now, the one guy you could have argued would probably have been Danielle Hunter, but he's no longer in the NFC North. So we'll say Aiden Hutchinson clears pretty much everybody. It's not like he clears everybody by a long shot. I mean, if you had Aiden Hutchinson... No, okay, so I'm not saying that you would swap these players out. But if you had Rashawn Gary on your team, you'd be happy with it. Now, if someone told you you have to lose Aiden Hutchinson to get Rashawn Gary, then you'd say no, and it's not going to happen. But you'd be happy with Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary is a good player. He gave us fits, right? A couple Thanksgivings ago. He always gives us fits. He's one of those players that you have to account for. Tyleik Williams clears no one because we don't know what Tyleik Williams is in the NFL. So we can't say Tyleik Williams is better than Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargraves. The Vikings signed both of them this offseason. So we can't say that Tyleik Williams is better than either of those guys. We can't say that Tyleik Williams is better than anybody that the Packers have. We can't say Tyleik Williams is better than anybody the Bears have because we don't know, because he's a rookie. And since Aleem McNeil does not factor into this equation because he will not be available until November, we have to talk about what we have going into the season. Okay? So Tyleik Williams is a mystery. He's an unknown. He's a known unknown. He's not an unknown unknown. He's a known unknown. The difference between an unknown unknown and a known unknown is that you know that you don't know it. An unknown unknown, you don't know that you don't know it. Facts. All right. Is he banned? Yeah, definitely ignoring. So TaylorMade Media says last year, Terrell Williams was one of the best DCs in the NFL. Well, he's the defensive line coach. To cats who couldn't pronounce his first name, now the Lions have another new DC, but no one heard of prior to his onboarding. No, we heard of Casey Rogers before. Just ask the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They know. Then we have DJ Reader. DJ Reader is a very good, solid veteran. He commands double teams. It was very important for us to get DJ Reader here to help unlock Aleem McNeil. I think he will do the same thing for Tyleik Williams. But again, we do not know who or what Tyleik Williams is. Okay? Y'all ready for this one? I know this is the one you've been waiting for. Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport clears Jonathan Grenard. Marcus Davenport may even clear Montez Sweat. Maybe. Not in name value, but in ability. Maybe he can clear Montez Sweat. I don't think he clears Rashawn Gary. I think Rashawn Gary is a better player than Marcus Davenport. But it doesn't matter who Marcus Davenport clears because he can't clear them for an entire season. In Detroit, if he was clearing anybody, he was only clearing them for 2 games. I'm going to have to put Detroit low on the totem pole of defensive lines. I can't put them last because we have Aiden Hutchinson, because we have DJ Reader. I can't put them last. But they're definitely going to have to be second or third. They can't be first. The reason that they can't be first is just what we've been talking about the entire offseason. We needed you to upgrade. Now, would I put them first if we had re-signed Zadarius Smith or not cut Zadarius Smith at all? Probably. I probably would put them first because, again, we've got Aiden Hutchinson. He's back. We've got Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson, a healthy Aiden Hutchinson, and a Zadarius Smith would be a problem for NFC North quarterbacks and all other quarterbacks in the NFL, right? But because he's not currently signed, he's not currently on the roster, we have Marcus Davenport, who again is the total package. He's better against the run than Zadarius Smith, and probably is just as effective, if not slightly more effective, at getting to the passer in the pass game than Zadarius Smith. I would say all around, Marcus Davenport is a better player than Zadarius Smith, because Marcus Davenport can stop the run and get to the passer at an elite level. I have said on many occasions, that Marcus Davenport would get Aiden Hutchinson money if he could stay healthy. But because he can't stay healthy, we have him at an incentive-laden $4.75 million for this year, which we all hope he sees every penny of it. But we cannot be sure that will happen. TaylorMade says, if Tyleik Williams is the first round pick, I expect him to start. In fact, he should be Casey Rogers' job 1. I believe he is. I believe he will start because who else is going to start? If Tyleik Williams got picked round 1 and you roll out Roy Lopez week 1, Something really wrong here, baby. Something is really wrong here, baby. So I don't think that should happen. Now, number one, defensive line. It's close, but you probably have to go with the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, as I said, signed Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargraves to beef up the middle of their defense. Then they already have Jonathan Grenard. They've got Dallas Turner, who's more of a, rusher. I mean, he's a linebacker, but he's more of a rush end than he is a coverage linebacker. So we got Dallas Turner, who had 3 sacks. He had limited reps. The beginning of his season, basically he had to get into the good graces of the coaches and things, and then he had to get into the system and understand how to play within Brian Flores' system and things of this nature. So I'm going to put them first. The Packers have the Bears have Montez Sweat. Who else do they have? Andrew Billings. Javon Dexter is, I think he was a 3rd round draft pick, like Aleem McNeil, but he's not Aleem McNeil. Austin Booker, they drafted last year. He was a rookie. He was decent, but we'll see if he's anything to write home about after this season or during this season. Let's see who else they have. Okay. Oh, they did get Grady Jarrett. So, frick. That definitely does help them beef up the middle. So Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter, and Deo Odeyingbo. Okay. Yeah, I forgot they signed him. Whew. The Bears' defensive line is good now. Is Grady Jarrett better than DJ Reader? I would say so. I would say Grady Jarrett is better than DJ Reader. I would hope that Tyleik Williams is better than Javon Dexter. As I said, Tyleik Williams was a 1st round draft pick. Javon Dexter was drafted in the 3rd round, I believe. Is Deo Odeyingbo better than Marcus Davenport? Yeah, man, I can't say that he is. I don't know much about Deo. I just know he did cost a pretty penny on the open market. Let's see. The Packers defensive line. All right, the Packers defensive line is Lucas Van Esch. Kenny Clark is good. Devontae Wyatt. And Rashawn Gary. So I would put the Vikings at 1. This is tough. The NFC North has a lot of good defensive lines. If I'm looking at the Detroit Lions for what is healthy and what is available, because we have the rookie there, it's hard to, on paper, put them over the Bears' defensive line. Montez Sweat and Deo Odeyingbo on the outsides. Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter on the inside. It's hard to put like, so we have to quantify what Aiden Hutchinson means. What is his value over these other teams? Because it feels like okay. Let me take off my biasness. The Detroit Lions have a tremendous amount of talent on the ends. Okay? With all things being equal, and we know that they're not, because we know part of Marcus Davenport's story is his injury history. If we go on what Brad Holmes has said, right? Brad Holmes said basically that it all starts in the middle. Because if you don't have it locked down in the middle, you can have stuff popping on the edge, but it's going to be really hard for you to stop teams. So let's go with the Brad Holmes philosophy here. In the middle, you have Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargraves. Right now, that clears DJ Reader and Tyleik Williams. Right now, that clears Grady Jarrett and Javon Dexter. Right now, that clears who was the Packers? Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt. Okay? Does DJ Reed and Tyleik Williams clear DJ Reader, sorry. Does DJ Reader and Tyleik Williams clear Grady Jarrett and Javon Dexter? I'm hoping it does. Does it clear Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt? I think it's very close. I don't know. This is tough, man. This is tough. And like I said, because of Aiden Hutchinson, you can't put them last. Because if we're going with Marcus Davenport and Aiden Hutchinson, and we can throw out the injury stuff, I would say that this line would be number 2 behind Minnesota. Because both Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport are going into the season healthy. However long Marcus Davenport stays healthy is not up to me. So I'm not going to discount him as far as the player that he is because of the injury history. I'll just say the injury history is there, but we're talking about going into the season. Our depth chart right now is Aiden Hutchinson, is it's Aiden Hutchinson, Tyleik Williams, DJ Reed, Durr, and Marcus Davenport. I got to put him at number 2. Okay, so they've got a number 1 secondary, a number 2 linebacking core. Was their linebacking core number 2? I think I put them at number 2. I put the Vikings at number 1. So the Vikings have a number 1 linebacking core, a number 1 defensive line. Probably number 3 secondary. Let's go. We're gonna create a point system. The lower points you have, the better your defense is. So if you have 3 points, that means that everything you have is number 1. So the Vikings right now have 5 points. The Detroit Lions right now have 5 points. And I think that the Packers and the Bears will probably be 6-7 points. Maybe even 8. Okay, so I'm going to say with this point system that we've just created, the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings have the top 2 defenses in the NFC North. And based off of everything, I don't think there's a clear number 1. We are going to tie the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings for best defenses in the NFC North. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of the exercise we just went through? Let me know where you think I'm right. Let me know where you think I'm wrong. And I will get to your comments right now because I was deep in thought and I didn't get to a lot of comments. All right. I definitely didn't get to the Bears fans' comments. Okay. Broderick Martin doesn't count in this in this exercise. The only people that count are the starters. So the first 11 people, those are the ones that count. So you talking about Broderick Martin, you talking about Pat O'Connor, we talking about the first 11 guys only. Scuba starts the game giving up a 2-run bomb, 2-0 Athletics. Nobody knows what 97 is going to do in 25. That's true. But because it's a broken bone, if you feel like he'll get back a lot faster than if it was a tendon injury. All right. Carpenter 2-run home run ties the game. Appreciate the update, Detroit fan man. Granted, some doctor can say, yeah, he's back to 85% physically. That's not a guarantee. Well, we'll see what happens, but he's healthy. He's fully cleared. And that's what we're going on. When we rated this defense, we're going on who's healthy to start the season. Aleem McNeil is not part of this exercise because he's not healthy until November. He's gone to November. Okay. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Only rational fans in the building. Um, I'm gonna start telling Bears fans that if you want to get read, if you want to get talked about or seen, hit the super chat. Hit the super chat. Uh, T-Bone Logue said, I had an OSU fan tell me that Williams is a wrecker and I'm a Michigan fan. So here's the thing with me and rookies. I like to see what they can do in the NFL first. There are rookies that you expect to come in and be dogs. And then the vast majority of people, I take a wait and see approach. Ashton Jeanty, to me, is a guy that I think it can go both ways. And I think it can go both ways because of the competition level that he was playing against in college. The fact that when they came up and they played Penn State, I mean, he didn't have as explosive a game. I think he still did have a couple over 100 yards. But he wasn't getting the 200 yards and the 180 yard and all that stuff that he was used to that season. So I think Jeanty has an NFL body. I think Jeanty has an NFL skill set. So he could be a beast and a dog. He could also just be average. And I'm not saying that like to be safe. I'm just saying that because it's the competition argument, right? The competition argument. Ben Roethlisberger came out of Miami of Ohio, and nobody really knew who he was at that time for sure. And then he came in, and he was a dog. So again, Unless I get so at the top of the draft, right? You had Abdul Carter. You're like, oh man, if you get Abdul Carter, he's gonna wreck off the edge. If you get Travis Hunter, he's gonna lock down one side of the field, and he's also going to stretch the field and take the top off of a defense. I didn't feel great about any of the quarterbacks this season. So that's what I mean, right? For exercise purposes only, yes. For exercise purposes only. Everyone is the people that are healthy are fully healthy. The people that are on the IR and they finish the season on the IR and they're not coming back, they're not allowed in the exercise. Ashton Jeanty went to the Raiders. No, we do not face the Raiders this season. And again, I don't. When it comes to the Lions, I'm not worried about any running back. I'm generally worried about the quarterbacks because we've been very good against the run for quite some time. So if you're a running back, even Saquon Barkley, it's about getting off of those blocks. If you don't give him the holes, like when we played Saquon Barkley and he was on the Giants, we bottled him up because the Giants had a terrible offensive line and he didn't really have any room to maneuver. And that's when we were 9-8. I don't know what we would have done against him last season. I think we would have lost to them with all of our injuries. I think if everyone was healthy on the defensive line, then we would have been able to deal with Saquon Barkley. I don't think it would have been an issue. And that's probably why I'm putting them number 2 as a defensive line, because while everybody's not healthy, the only one that's not is Aleem McNeil. And since Tyleik Williams is supposed to be Aleem McNeil light, or just like Aleem McNeil, a Aleem McNeil clone, you know, that's what I can project him as. Is his ceiling is Aleem McNeil, you know, or maybe he could be a little bit better. I don't know. So let me know. Let me know what y'all think. Am I off for saying that the Vikings and the Lions have the top defense, because I feel like it's a tie based off of the number system? Okay. The lower you are, the better you are. If you've got 3 points, that means that all 3 of your units, secondary, linebackers, and defensive line, are the number 1 units in the conference, or not the conference, in the division. If you've got 5 points, that means that 2 of your, hold on, wait. The Vikings, yeah, because I said their secondary was like 3rd. Okay, that's why. Okay, so the Vikings, that's why they have 5 points, because their secondary is 3rd, and their linebacking core and their defensive line are number 1. So 3-1-1. The linebackers, the Lions are 1-2-2. In the Packers and the Bears, I mean, as far as secondary goes, the Bears, I'm going to put them at number 3 because they have Jalen Johnson. I'll put the Packers at number 4. So the Bears are already at 3 points. The Vikings are already at 4 points. Then the Bears linebacking core, I'm going to put them 3rd. 3rd or 4th. I'm not sure. I'll put them 3rd. Right? So they're 3-3. That's 6. And then as far as the defensive line, I think I got the Bears 3rd. Yeah, I'll put the Bears 3rd, the Packers 4th. So the Packers seem to be 4th in everything. So they've got 12 points. The Bears have 11 points. And the Lions and the Vikings got 5 points each. So that is the system. Now the Lions are going to face mobile QBs in 25. They can rack up some yards in the rushing game. That is true, but I'm just talking about the running backs. He said, I'm good with all the D-Records. They still got to put on the pads in front of a lot of people in prime time. That's true. That's true. That's never not going to be true. You got to play the games. The paper is the paper, but the games aren't played on the paper. The games are played on the football field. So, let's see. Facts. It's TaylorMade Media. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I got some things that I got to finish up today. Hopefully I'm on the verge of a breakthrough, so I can go and get back to work. But I appreciate everyone for coming through, stopping by, hanging out. Tomorrow, we might do the offenses. At least you ain't running out 12 spreadsheets to make your point. I'm pretty sure that there are probably some people who do that. Again, Justice Spiro, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? At MCDP313 on X or Twitter, whatever have you. Okay. And then come holler at me. I'll come and sit down with you. I'll come and sit down with you. All right. So the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out of here. Peace.